What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Pop of the Man podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, aka J-Wop. Joining me today, we have five others. We got my right-hand man, Cord. What's up, Cord?
How you been? How you been? Chaos is a louder, but today is a good day.
We had the Mississippian.
Prevailed.
We got DeLone with us. What's up, DeLone?
How you doing, man? How you doing? Wolves in 5.
We got the senior basketball analyst, man. We got Jarquiz with us.
What's good? What's good?
We have your favorite Suns fan. We got Cam with us today.
I'm not even my favorite Suns fan.
We go first when you Cam. You're not alone.
And then we have hip hop rider with us, man. We got the groovy general himself. What up, Grant?
What up, y'all? What up? What up? What up?
And you know we do. We talk about everything with basketball, music, and everything in between. If you're tuning in to this on YouTube, make sure you like the video. Make sure you drop comments. Let us know what you think about our opinions, what you think about Cord's hot takes that he's going to give throughout the show. If you disagree with him, say hell no in the chat. Cord, doing all that kind of stuff. But we're going to do things a little differently today. We're going to talk primarily music. And then in a separate video, we're likely to talk predominantly basketball. So a little different than what we normally do. But I figured the music topic would be pretty big, and we'll be talking a lot on it. And I didn't want to break it up into 3 different parts and have basketball in between it. And so the main topic, which would be predominantly the entire music topic, is this generational beef that we've all been blessed to be born into. I was just telling my mom, I said, "You hear about Drake and Big? Not Drake and Big. We hear about Drake and Kendrick." And she like, "Yeah, I saw that in the news." Like my mom is 60. She know what's going on. That's how big this is. It reached her. She don't care about hip hop or nothing. She don't care about rap. And so I was like, "Yeah, this is our big in pop." She was like, "It's a damn shame all these black people arguing." I said, "All right, well, I went in my room." So with that being said, I feel like we've kind of reached the conclusion of this beef. It was, I think, in totality, about 9 to 10 songs released a piece between both over a span of 14 to 15, 16 days, with Kendrick capping off the beef with Not Like Us, which has now been a smash hit, breaking Spotify records. I think it reached number 1 in 5 days, being the first rap song to ever do that without needing the entire week to reach number 1. And every day since it's released, the numbers have gotten higher for a number of streams. I've seen this shit in commercials. I've seen it played in between NBA games. It's been insane. So with that being said, guys, I think it's time to discuss. And because I don't think any more songs are going to be released. At least that's what it seems like. I mean, academics have hinted that Drake might release something. They said somebody got shot at his house, so now he's not going to release anything. I don't know how true that was to begin with. And also he's saying Drake's going to address it on the EP album. And I'm like, he might, but that feels kind of far away. So in the meantime, I'm going to start with you, Cord. Is this beef over? And who do you feel like won? And when did you feel like it was won?
Hey man, when we did the show, I said, man, Drake, Kendrick hands tied behind his back, Taylor Swift just released. I don't know, when we getting them records, it's looking bad. I knew the tides had turned when Adam 22 came out and said he talked to Drake. When he said he talked to Adam 22, I said, okay, he's trying to get any media person, anybody with a camera and a microphone to take his side, and I'm a little worried from him. And when Euphoria dropped, when 616 in LA dropped, when Meet the Grams dropped, it was over then. Not Like Us that was a knockout blow. It's like he woke up the next day and said, "Oh, they finna run Damage Control for Drake and then say the Family Matters is better than Meet the Grams." Wow, one more. And to see the tide turn like that, it made me happy, man. Drake went from going drop to stop. He was begging for mercy, man. To see him be as bold and as brave and as confident as he was, and to go out like that, it truly warms my heart, man. He put up a great fight. But now we gotta ask the question: is the boy really war ready? Because Meek don't count no more. I don't even look at the Meek because now we know a lot about Meek. He ain't all there. So does that victory really count?
It counts, but I think I might have been telling DeLon or telling someone. It counts, but I just feel like a lot of rappers could have beaten Meek because of how he moves. It went from Drake just outclass Meek because Drake is this super mastermind, and because he is really smart. But at the same time, we see now a lot of that was Meek shooting himself in the foot.
Dang, not me.
Because Meek won back public opinion. Meek won back public opinion with championships, and it somehow made people hate him again by himself without anybody's help. Like,
now, let's calm down there because Meek was at the height of his powers when that did go down.
Yes,
because you beat this guy, then you step up to another level and fight this guy and take an L. Doesn't discredit anything. Let's call. Drake
that's why I said I'm not gonna take it away from him. I'm not gonna take it away from Drake.
It's in question. It's under review.
Brush-ups throughout the years. A lot of dust ups. A lot of niggas not even making songs. Just hey Drake, if you come to Houston XYZ, Pusha T, we're gonna call that an anomaly. That's a different situation. But with Kendrick, it was literally Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. Somebody got to lose.
Somebody got to die.
Somebody got to go down. So I'm not going to look at him losing to Kendrick, which I don't know who is beating Kendrick. I'm not looking at him losing to Kendrick is like, oh, we got to invalidate some other dubs.
No. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. It's more so like I think
the way he did.
I think it's more so in terms of maybe how other people perceive Drake too, as well as me, is that Drake seemed like this unbeatable like figure in rap. I know some of his fans have been on TL saying like, "Oh, Kendrick was always going to win." You know, Kendrick was always going to be seen as the favorite. You know, there's no way Drake was going to win public opinion against. There's no way Drake was going to win public opinion versus Kendrick, and I just didn't feel that way. I don't really feel like that's what people thought about Drake and Kendrick going into this. To me, I thought that Kendrick was the one who's going to have a hard time winning public favor against Drake. He's the less he technically is the less popular rapper between the two. Drake typically makes a lot more popular sounding music. His style is a lot more appealing to the casual listener. I thought Kendrick was the one who was going to be having an uphill battle to get public opinion and say, "Oh yeah, he's the nicer."
I don't know about that.
Go ahead.
You definitely said that he started You said he started the beef in a handicap. You those are your words verbatim. You said he started the race behind when we was talking in the chat, and when I was like, before anything was even dropped, when he dropped
Push
like
Up.
The like that, just like that by itself. People were saying that Kendrick didn't have to release. He didn't have to. He could take his time. He had to do nothing.
That was later on.
He dropped. It was like, oh, it's over after this song. Then he dropped another song. Oh, it's over after this song. Oh, then he dropped another song. Oh, it's over. Like at no point like did I feel like Drake had, at least in my opinion, besides like the first. What was that like that little 1 week, 2 week run when Kendrick had to drop it? I feel like that was the only time people could say Drake was winning, but even then people had their caveats about Taylor Made and they had their, the think pieces about push ups. So I wouldn't say that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I said Drake was behind. That was after Meet the Grams when we talked. I'm saying like at the beginning of this beef, I don't think anybody would have said, yeah, Drake got his work cut out for him. I think people are going to be in favor of Kendrick.
No. We were talking about the beginning. You said it was all right. So we was talking, and I was like, I felt like from the beginning, just because of who Drake is, it was more so people hating on him and not, more so about they hated that nigga than it was.
I will say,
I remember saying at the beginning because we were talking about. You asked me, do you think Kendrick gonna respond? I said, I don't even know if Kendrick gonna respond.
No. I'm saying that the dislike when me, you, Tay, and what's name were talking the other day, and I was like from the beginning. I said, and I verbatim, I said from the beginning, and you said you said he was Drake was fighting an uphill battle before it started, just specifically how the public views Kendrick, and you was I agree with that.
I said that could have been the case. But I would. But even I'm saying at the beginning, coming into this, I would not have guessed that the hate for Drake would be greater than the love for Drake, because Drake is the biggest rapper in the world.
Yes. Okay. So this is the way I always like to bring everything back to sports debates because that's the way I like to do stuff. But this is kind of like in a way, this is kind of like the Jordan versus LeBron thing. it's like, all right, because there's no one that actually hates Michael Jordan, it's easier for Jordan to win the public opinion thing. Whereas there's a lot of people that hate LeBron. So there's this, all right, he can, even if it's tied, Jordan is gonna win. Even if it's tied, Jordan is gonna win because there's so many more people that hate him, that hate LeBron, than people that love. Well, the thing is, Drake is just a more divisive figure in himself. So the thing is,
and he's a more public person, so there's more things for you to pick up. There's literally nothing you know about Kendrick. Go ahead, Grant.
There's
I'm trying to get in a point for a second.
I'm kind of glad you said it, Brad, and that factors into the debate, right? So I'm gonna put it like this: Kendrick came into this battle outside of shit that he has said on wax, on his albums, his music. We don't know jack shit about that nigga besides he is a semi-conscious, I wouldn't even call him conscious.
Yeah.
He a game banger with special, that make concept albums, right? To Brad's point and what he's saying, I'm not gonna say people say, oh, people just hating Drake. I ain't gonna say that's Eric. Some people do that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some people do that, but not everybody. But I'm gonna say it like this: Drake had already went through.
Damn, Grant froze. Oh
no, I'm here.
No,
I'm just thinking. Drake had already went through two beasts. One of them hurt his credibility already with the ghostwriting thing. I ain't saying everybody feel that way, but it was a lot of people that was looking at Drake funny after that. I ain't saying like I was still listening to music, and I ain't gonna cat like that. What a time to be alive, you know, if you're reading this too late, blah blah blah. That's besides the point. The Push beef. Push dissed him on Infrared, and Drake was like, all right, they think he think I'm pussy, so I'm gonna diss him back. And I woke up, I was sleeping through all day, and then I woke up from that, I was like, wait, this nigga Drake dissed him back. Oh shit. Okay, Drake, he kind of got off for sure. And then the bomb dropped. Yo, Push T, he on front flex and everything like that. And then he exposing Drake for the blackface, having a kid, everything like that. Fast forward to now. I'm not saying Kendrick is a saint, but in terms of precedent, I think a lot of people went against Drake was that he already had skeletons come out already. With Kendrick, it's kind of like all of my skeletons, I put them out on my own. I don't have someone
and then even then, Grant, there were people on the timeline who didn't even they were talking about Kendrick cheating on his wife, and there's people who didn't even know that. Like they just like, oh, Kendrick.
We don't listen to his music. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. But those are the same people that were siding with Kendrick. That's what I'm saying. So like, the public opinion and how they view Kendrick. Not that Kendrick wanted to be that way or made it that way, but they just view him in a higher light than they do Drake. That's just like if Donald Trump and Joe Biden, they run against each other. I don't know what Joe done did, but I know that this nigga Donald Trump done went to jail before. I don't know what Joe done, but they've both been equally bad, but I don't know. I know what this man did. I don't know what he's done. So it's easy for me to believe and dislike this one person because he's more out in the public and I know what he's done wrong. Whether against this other guy who's mysterious and unknown and people don't know much about him and he disappears and all that other stuff. So
I get what you're saying.
Like, even after like the blackface and stuff, Drake was still the biggest rapper in the world. As much as
that stuff don't matter. It's not saying that's not. I mean, at that point, he makes the music he makes it just appeals to the common listener. So like,
he
had big.
That's what I'm saying. He had a lot of people who, while he might have haters, Drake has technically more people who have supported his music than people who hate him. Lamar.
Speaking of Jordan, this is the one thing that Bragg is missing.
Go ahead, Cord.
What do all those beefs have in common? He got exposed for being a liar. So when you get in a beef with someone else, why would we believe you if you done lied 50 times? You done got exposed in every single beef for lying. So if you say something about Kendrick, people are less likely to believe you because you lied the last time. And also, Drake is gonna always be in a disadvantage in the beef. You wanna know why? Because he be dissing everybody. You diss Serena Williams for no reason. You diss Rihanna for no reason. You diss Pusha T wife for no reason. You brought Kendrick wife into it. How you say it's a 20v1, and then you turn it into a steel cage match. You turned the regular beef into something extremely personal. And Kendrick kept telling you over and over and over again, let's keep it hip hop. But Drake don't never want to keep it hip hop. He want to make it personal when you got the most skeletons in your closet.
I think Lon gonna bring up a point I was gonna do, but go ahead, Lon.
Yeah. So I don't know if you kind of got the order of those things wrong. Future did drop 2 albums of 30 niggas dissing Drake before Whitney was said. So
But
we
you
not gonna act
made
like
it
he said
personal.
a cage match by saying her name. There was about 12 diss tracks in 14 days.
The intro of the first Metro Boomin album is Future saying you a nigga #1 fan. Like
now the Serena stuff, that's different. All that jazz, that's different. But I will also say I do think we're getting a little bit away from Jordan's original point that he was making. I do actually think there was a lot more even coming in, because I think the two of them are stylistically different enough to where there's not like an overlap of the kind of school of thought. Jordan, you tweeted yesterday, I think, is a Kendrick versus Drake beef going to make people want to be lyricists again? So I do think it was a battle of school of thought. I think coming into this kind of a situation, people were on the side that they were on the side of. It doesn't matter how much you like Drake. It doesn't matter how much you like Kendrick. There was a biases. The old heads are going to rock with Kendrick a lot more likely. While I do think that Drake has a more far-reaching fan base, I do think Kendrick has more of the fan base of the people that we give a shit about their opinion in this situation. Johnny at Ole Miss, who's an accounting major and a Delta Psi, is probably really going to come in on Drake's side, but we don't care about Johnny's voice. He's going to be loud. That mass over there is going to be loud, but Kendrick is going to have people of the culture speaking for him. So in that regard, quality versus quantity, I do think it came in kind of even. So I do think in them being 1 and 2, 1 and 1, 1 and 2, however you look at it, I think there was room to win and there was room to lose from either side.
I just know that like last time we hit recorded, I don't think any of us were in here saying like, yeah, Drake got his work cut out for him in this beat. That's what I'm saying. Like, it had
been that big gap of days. If it had been like right when it started, it would have been like when if we would have had this right after Like That drop, but before push-ups. Mm-hmm. I think we would have been talking differently, but I think that was a day when Core was like, "Yeah, I don't know how many more days Kendrick got before I'm like scared."
And then, but at the same time, it's also because I
love Taylor Made.
But that's what I'm saying. Like people were saying, Kendrick. One of Kendrick's biggest caveats his whole career is he's not battle tested. That's one of the biggest like critiques of him. Like we don't know what Kendrick would do in the beef. We don't know if he actually would beef. That's what people have always said. While people say, "Oh, we should be scared of Kendrick," there's also people that say, "Should we?" And that's why even like me as a fan, I was like, I actually don't know what Kendrick's going to do because he's literally never been in this situation before.
Everybody had their first battle.
Kendrick could release in a month from now, 2 months from now. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised he don't say nothing. Like I really didn't know, and a lot of people didn't know. That's why I say on that podcast episode after, because at that point Taylor Made had been out. I really don't think we were sitting here saying, "Man, that was a good start for Drake," but we gonna need more. Even though Kendrick hasn't said nothing yet. Like that's what I was saying. Before everything kicked off, I don't think any of us would have thought that like Drake would be fighting an uphill battle the entire time. It became more clear as the beef went on that there's a lot of there's some people who aren't on Drake's side that we thought would be on Drake's side.
I would say that because even during that episode, I was talking about how people, like I said, were literally casual people. We're saying, "Oh, Kendrick ain't got to say nothing. He already won." Well, like he was talking to everybody else but Kendrick, so he really ain't say nothing to Kendrick. Taylor Made, he used AI. That shit was whack as fuck. So he was like, every turn
people turning on Taylor Made is crazy.
I didn't see that coming either. See, that's what I'm saying. I didn't expect it. I heard Taylor Made. Niggas are gonna like this. Like that caught me by surprise too.
Jordan, let me tag in on that real quick. So speaking, I'm glad this point is brought up. And to me, this is where Drake fucked up. My thing is this. I'm gonna put it like this. The first thing that happened with the whole, I think from a beef standpoint, I get that whole AI stuff. I get like you trying to disrespect somebody, I get it. But we talking about rapping as an art form, so I also see, hey, I'm not rocking with that, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. When push-ups came out, I was like, okay, oh shit, this nigga flowing, this shit hard, the drop give me 50, this shit tough, and then him interpolating what's beat by Biggie into that, A+, loved it. I loved it. I was like, Kendrick, hey bro, you want to smoke? You need to come out. I didn't think Kendrick would really respond then. I'm gonna say that, but I put it like this: I think where Drake fucked up is bringing up the money talk and the extortion talk, not knowing who your OG is and how notorious they are for bad deals. I put it like that. The second thing,
Which one?
The second thing I think where he fucked up was, and I go on record, Taylor Made, it had really good rapping, but my issue with the AI voices thing is like, if he would have did it and used their cadence, I would have gave him more points for that. But it's kind of like Snoop Dogg and Pop rapping in Drake flow. Like I ain't really rocking with that, and I think that's what really got Kendrick to come out like, "Hey, bro, you disrespected Tupac, the nigga that I got a shrine of in my house that I pray to every day. All right, you finna get it." Like, I think that's where he fucked up at.
But that was his. I think that was the point of him doing that, was to provoke that nigga into dropping.
Yeah.
I'm talking more so public perception. I've seen more people. It was at least in my eyes, because obviously, you know what I'm saying, the Twitter is a small minority, very small minority. So in my eyes, from what I saw on my timeline and my feed and like my stories and stuff, a lot of people, I seen more people bashing Taylor Made than I did see people saying, "Oh, this shit that's crazy, that's disrespectful." Kendrick gotta say something. Like I said multiple times in the group chat, Jordan's probably the only Kendrick fan that I saw that heard the song and was like, that shit was really disrespectful. Like that's some shit Kendrick gotta say something about. Everybody else approach was, man, this shit lame as hell. He using AI to all this other stuff. No, that's
because like I said,
that's why I thought it was like that don't make sense. The point of the beef is he's trying to provoke the nigga to doing something which obviously fucking worked. Whether it worked for him or against him, obviously we see now, but it worked.
It worked because Kendrick brought up Tupac on damn near every single track. Like I told people, I said I feel like that's something that's gonna resonate with Kendrick. And I think that's the point what Drake was trying to do, was provoke him, and it worked. You know, just he didn't expect Kendrick to come like he did.
But also, Kendrick had great counters in every song. Like anytime Drake would say something, he would just flip it, and it made Drake look crazy.
So I'm gonna ask Lon this question because I want his opinion. Now it seems like I feel like most of the room agrees that Kendrick won, but how we got to that result, I think everybody has different opinions. So I like the Lon opinion on this. Like, after 16 in LA drop, and it is made known to Drake, hey, there are people in your camp giving me information, and I think we all kind of know at this point that actually was true. There was not an actual we know there was an actual multiple according to Kendrick. It wasn't just one person, and I think we all agree that Drake was not feeding Kendrick information. I don't think, maybe y'all tell me I believe that, but I don't personally. But knowing from that moment right there, Delon, where it was to Drake, where it was clear, like, oh wait, people are telling Kendrick what I'm going to do, and people are leaking my music to Kendrick, and I can hear it based on the stuff he's saying. He's letting me know. He's like Kendrick did a whole bunch of stuff in that song to show that, hey, I know what you're going to say in the next song because people have told me. Was there anything in a musical sense? Because we're talking about public opinion and Drake being behind, but in a musical sense, was there anything Drake could have done from that point to prevent the outcome we got, knowing that, hey, Kendrick has already heard the songs I have recorded? Should I proceed with what I'm going to do? Should I go back to the drawing board? Like, was there a way for him to win at that point, knowing that he had people leaking information to Kendrick?
Record new songs, shore up the availability to it, get a new hard drive, just get away from that, because there's a lot that could have been handled by preparation, and cockiness was a downfall, whether it be him believing that Kendrick actually had access to the music and all that kind of stuff, whether it being him thinking it didn't matter, whether him saying he had a mole as well and thinking he had all Kendrick information, but obviously did not. I think he just needed more preparation. No one forced him to drop Family Matters at that.
No.
Family Matters at that time. He could have waited. He
Yeah.
could have waited, got something else in the tuck. There's not much worse that could have happened besides him just continually being called a pedophile, which is what happened. So,
Man, that's tough allegations, there, boy.
yeah, that's tough allegations. That's tough
Just
allegations. So, you know, maybe just kind of shoring up that. I genuinely don't think after Kendrick told him the first time you got moles in your camp, I don't think he took a look around.
No, I think that kind of goes into where we talk about how well he's performed in other beefs, and like I said, even Drake felt like he was like, look, man, I'm Drake. Niggas gonna take
What's the worst thing that happened?
You know what I'm saying? I really think he felt that way because, like DeLon said earlier, Pusha T was more of an anomaly. I'm surprised that it turned out the way it did. It's just that he had pulled some out his back pocket that Drake was blindsided by. So Drake probably thinking like, yeah, no more skeletons in my closet. I'm good. What's the worst thing? The worst thing?
One thing I'll say. One thing I'll say is that in comparing the beefs, because I ain't gonna say Kendrick, I ain't say, oh, I got dirty information too, but I think like originally, for the most part, I think the way stylistically, the way Kendrick came, it was okay. Euphoria, I got you something that gonna give you the little, it will scratch the little lyrical itch you got, and also it's gonna crank in the whip. 616 in LA, that's something for the backpacker niggas. I got something for that. Meet the Grams, that's the, hey bro, I don't. At that point, I was like, hey bro, it's 12 a.m. It's 12 a.m. in the morning. I'm finna turn on the light and go to sleep. That shit creep me out. I can't even lie to you. Not like us. To top it all off for the victory lap, and coming back like, okay, I got like, I'm gonna show this nigga where I'm from, but also make a banger out of it too. So I feel like Kendrick checked a lot of boxes, not only his delivery, but the style, and how he would flip everything and give it like a cultural lesson. Like, okay, you talking about me, like, hey, you don't even think you black. You talking about my city, like, I can tell you where I'm from. Tell me where you from. Like, he's just kind of like, he would flip everything back onto Drake, like Corey was saying, and I think that's what also won him this beef.
And to me, I feel like that's where he. My bad. Just to piggyback off that, Jordan. I feel like that's where he got Drake. I think he kind of, especially to me, I felt like when Not Like Us dropped, that was like, okay, yeah, he got this nigga. Because everything else, I felt like kind of went hand in hand. Even with the last song he dropped, I thought that was a good counter. But Not Like Us, he basically did what Kendrick did to me, where he had a song that became literally the summer anthem. And the whole Summer 16, everybody was talking about, they was either singing back to back or they was singing Summer 16 that whole summer. And everybody was bumping in their whip. And niggas is making fun of, like, they dancing and shit while making fun of you. Like Jordan said, to hear Not Like Us being played on TNT, talking about calling a man a pedophile is insane. That's insane. Insane. Like, there's no way to, like, refute that. Like,
and it wasn't even like something that just like, oh, this came out of like, oh, a couple weeks go by and they put it on there. It was like immediately the day that like a day or two after the song dropped, that shit was already on TNT.
That's how much of a
they also have Family Matters on there too. They also, and they still do that. They play Family Matters during the Wolves game too.
They did.
I
was surprised.
But also, kind of going back to my original point about like who, like coming into this, who expected who to win, like who you place bets on. I don't think anybody would place bets that if we talk about the like we said, one of these two are going to release a song that's going to be a smash hit. It's going to break Spotify records while also being a great diss. I do not think that we would have bet on that being Kendrick between the two.
Oh no, that's facts. I didn't think because it's been like one of his biggest gripes is that he don't make like club bangers. Like it's plenty of memes of people saying, "Oh, you don't play the Kendrick around the hoes. You trying to scare the hoes," or you ain't never seen Kendrick getting played in the club. Woo woo woo. Like that's always been a thing. So when he did that, I said at that point the only way he could have won is either if he found like he released fucking video of Kendrick going Mike Tyson on his wife, or he came out with another banger that's even bigger than Not Like Us, which is
And
he would have been trying too hard to do so, and it would have just
I
backfired
want
on him. So it's just
I want to give a little shout out to Family Matters before we go on even further. I'm gonna do it like this. The first part of Family Matters, okay, is because I put it like this. As a song, I think it's absolutely great. My only issue with it as a diss is that there's not enough ammo for Kendrick. That's just me. With that being said, the second verse of that song, that is the best I've ever heard Drake rap over a drill beat in my entire life. It wasn't something that was like, oh my God, I'm trying to force it. Like, no, that nigga was in the zone. Like when he started talking about Rocky, like Weekend, like cook that nigga. Like that shit tough.
And he wasn't lying about Rocky. I do not want to hear no L, man.
I didn't want to hear
that was insane. He was talking about having intercourse with somebody that Drake's had intercourse with from the beginning, before Drake ever responded, was insane.
He set himself up.
Yeah, but Jordan, I do want to counter your point. No, I don't want to counter. I want to ask. So you said, if we talk about the beginning, would we have put money on who was winning? Would we put money on Kendrick dropping the number one single? I think that if Drake was the one to drop the number one single, blah blah blah, I don't think this beef would be. I don't think we'd be done hearing music, because I don't think Kendrick care about that.
No.
So I think on this side, if Kendrick drops that song, that's where we get a halt, a ceasefire. If Drake stops that, Kendrick's dropping 2 more songs.
Yeah.
So I still, even with that number one single, if Drake would have dropped that, either wouldn't be number one for too long, or that's not affecting Kendrick.
Yeah. I think it's just more kind of go to Grant's point was that Kendrick just he did a masterclass of hip hop. We got Euphoria, which was kind of like almost a hype song mixed in with a whole bunch of discipline, but also intricate layers of metaphors and like double entendres. And then we get into then we go into LA, 616 in LA. That's more of like Kendrick speed in terms of what he usually raps over. The Al Green sample sounds very soulful. That's what people, Jacquez said, this is what I expected Kendrick to release the first time. Then he goes into like the horrorcore type rap, going over the Alchemist beat with the haunting piano key in the background. And then he goes into the club. Like he rapping as if he's talking to the family members of Drake, the intricacies of the metaphors and stuff he layered over Euphoria and over 16 in LA, and then going into Not Like Us, saying like, oh, I can actually go make something really fun too, and to kind of like get everybody on my side. Like he's like in turn, like people are debating like what's real and what's fake. We all know the beef sometimes contains lies and stuff like that, but if we look at it purely from just rapping performance, like Kendrick just outdid him in that aspect too, from doing all these different kinds of rap while also just displaying his overall skills.
But that's not to say that it was just like a wash, because I feel like
I don't think it was a wash.
Rapping I feel like Drake, as far as rapping, I feel like Family Matters was amazing. I feel like a lot of people discredit the Heart Part 6, but I feel like he rapped really well on there.
He was rapping well, so that's
supporter. I'm a supporter of it.
Heart Part 6. That's probably the few cases of I think Drake rapped well, but I think the content of it just
there's too many question marks in there. Like I'm too famous to be a pedophile.
But the same thing could be said about when Kendrick was talking in Meet the Grounds, when people were questioning about the little girl thing, where he kind of just completely flipped his whole narrative from the little girl thing. So now I'm going beat on this whole can we say that on? Can we say that? I feel like we said that word a few times. I don't want you to have to go do too much editing.
We kind of already said it multiple times. I don't think.
I just thought about that. I was like,
certified pedophile, the number one song in the country.
We should be able to critique it on the YouTube.
You know what TNT was playing? TNT said it's all
we good.
I think Meet the Grams dropping literally an hour after Family Matters squashed that. I think if Kendrick does not choose to wait, if Kendrick chooses to wait like maybe like a day or two, I don't know if it got the same. But like I was getting ready to go to sleep, and niggas was like, "Oh, Kendrick dropped." I'm like, "Wait, what you talking about?"
And that's why, and that's the important. And that's one thing I really wanted to talk about today: the importance of a timeline and like how fast you respond and say something to somebody, which is why I thought it was really crazy. A lot of people were saying that Kendrick could wait 2 months to his album to, or like people talking, well, back in the day, I know I was talking to Mary, he was like, well, Tupac and Jay-Z and them boys, it would be months in between they disses. And I was like, that's not the era of rap that we're in anymore.
Mace waited 15 years.
Me and Core can make a song today and have it out by 7:30. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Momentum,
that's
a crazy
the
thing.
level we in today. So you can't do that if you want to. While the world you have the world's attention, it's really good to capitalize on that and drop, and that way you can smush out whatever. Even if you feel like a lot, like I said, a lot of people feel. I've seen a lot of people say that Family Matters is like the better song, but nobody really even gives a fuck because Kendrick was on it like that, and it took away some of the from the actual song itself.
I will say, it's my critique of Family Matters was, from a rap standpoint and also just from a diss standpoint, I thought the first verse was, I don't know, for me, he wasn't really rapping like anything special. He was just saying things to me. It was more so, haha, Whitney, having relations with Dave Free, haha, you beat your wife and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay. And then go to the second verse, he annihilates everybody. Second verse, not much in that second verse that pertains to Kendrick, which kind of makes me think about like Push-Ups, where I thought the best parts of Push-Ups didn't have anything to do with Kendrick. Then the third verse is actually about Kendrick. He's rapping really well. And so when people say, oh, this is the best song in the diss, I'm like, okay, out of the whole beef, I'm like, okay, maybe, but in terms of being a diss to Kendrick, like only one verse served that purpose, I felt like really well. And I think that's another thing that why Meet the Grams coming right behind it. It's like 3 whole verses. No, like 1, 2, 3, 4 whole verses dedicated to Drake. And that's why I think that's one of the mistakes I think Drake made in this beef. He should have ignored the rest of them niggas in this beef. You don't dedicate 1 verse to Kendrick Lamar when this nigga gonna come back and have 5 verses for your ass on the next song.
And that's why I agree with DeLon when he said the arrogance and the fact that he just felt like, nigga, I'm Drake, like I can wrap circles around fucking all these niggas, so I can do this. And I feel like, I think Mero was probably the first person to actually say that. He was like, bro, he gotta ignore them niggas. Like he can throw them little subliminals or drop like a little what's name in like a year to 6 months or 2, you know what I'm saying? Like he can drop something about addressing them later on. But right now, you got to worry about.
You could have saved him for
that is where he was.
I think if we look at perspective, right? For us, we are like Kendrick versus Drake. We want Kendrick versus Drake. Kendrick and Drake ain't been cool since
2013.
Fucking problems.
Yeah,
those are the people who are like he was on tour with. He made countless songs with. Blah blah blah. There's no way. Drake said 20v1, and Drake thought it was a 20v1. His perspective, he was beefing with all these niggas. We were like, we care about Kendrick. He's like, Rocky, we gotta talk. Ross, we gotta talk. Like I get him going to all of them. I would have preferred those be separate songs, but to say like he should have just got to them like 6 months down the line on an album, that's there was no way he could have let that go.
But the thing is, he already dissed them.
But isn't that kind of what he did with Kid Cudi though? Didn't he like with Diplomatic Community? Didn't he kind of just drop that in with the?
But that wasn't. There was an obvious force at work here. With
I was more so saying like he'd already dissed them on Push-Ups, and at that point, since Push-Ups, none of the rest of them had even said anything. So
Ross dropped.
Ross did drop, but then again, he's readdressing The Weeknd, who hadn't said anything since the album that came out on like.
No, he was on the second. You remember they dropped that second album? They dropped, We Really Don't Like You or whatever, and I think The Weeknd had another verse on that, didn't he?
Yeah, they got lease in their operation.
But all I'm saying is that, like, I don't know. Like I said, maybe he should not wait till 6 months down the line to address some things. But like, if his heart was truly in, I want to beat Kendrick Lamar. You can't create a rap song that's 3 verses with your best verse not even being the verse about Kendrick, and there only being 1 verse really, really, truly dedicated.
He could have split it.
Here's my thing about that, Jordan.
He could have split them songs.
On Family Matters,
he made 2 different songs. Right.
I agree with that sentiment. I feel like there was not enough ammo for Kendrick, and the second verse overshadowed a lot. On Push-Ups, I'm kind of like, because the whole chorus thing kind of like drop and give me 50, you getting extorted, blah, 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 you ain't got no money. I feel like Push-Ups is a little stronger on that front.
But I'm saying, like the last time he said on push-ups, I said like I told him when it came out, I said I feel like it's like a love tap to Kendrick, like, hey man, just get in the ring. I got shit waiting for you. This is a love tap in the ring because the whole, like you said earlier, the whole extortion, hey man, guys in your pocket, I'm like people in your pocket, Drake,
a lot of guys.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the you gotta wait for Taylor Swift. Like he ain't did a song with Taylor Swift since like 2015. Like that was saying like a lot of stuff he was saying. It just, to me, it wasn't anything that damaging or anything that was like a good punch. I said this is just a love tap, which is fine.
But that was the same thing that Kendrick did on White That though. He didn't go for a good punch either. So
that's why I said
I feel like it was appropriate at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's why I also felt like that was the problem. I was saying that the problem with push-ups, saying with Family Matters is the best parts of it had nothing to do with Kendrick. Yes, he said things about Kendrick on push-ups, but the best parts of that song was definitely the things he said about the other niggas on that song. And that's why, and I think Drake probably thought like in his game plan, he probably thought if I keep it a 20 versus 1 type angle, I'll get more points for basically annihilating these other niggas on the second verse. While I'm pretty certain that this abuse angle on Kendrick on the third verse is going to be enough to also kind of, make Kendrick back off for a little while. Because like I said, at that time, he didn't believe that Kendrick actually had information. And if Kendrick did not have information and he hears that definitely would probably put him at a pause. He just had bad intel.
My question for you, Jordan.
This is didn't stick.
Have you ever gotten into an argument with a nigga and he left? You're like, damn, I should have said this.
Yeah.
The bars are harder in Family Matters, unfortunately. It's simple as that. Everything he said to the niggas on song 1 was just harder on song 2. So I get it.
It was.
He had to get
it was.
Well, to me, I'm saying a lot of stuff he said didn't stick because when you do you want to take a picture with your son? What the son on the album cover? Oh, your kid's light skinned like mine. No, they not. Oh, you're a black activist, but you married to a mixed queen and you sleep with a white woman for your self-esteem, but also you don't want to be around people that's not blacker than you. You just said he only around people that's lighter than him. Like, I'm gonna say this, like, I feel like the abuse claim was all he had, and it didn't stick because we don't know enough about Kendrick. And I think Meet the Grams, and let me say this. Family Matters in my top 3 Drake songs with pistols and liver to my name, but I gotta take liver to my name out the mix because I
can't stand this
nigga. Insane top 3.
Hey, so look, I got a question for you, also, Jordan. So, with the accusations, does that persuade or change how you feel in any way, or do you feel like you need some type of answers? Because I saw a lot of people on TikTok saying that they kind of want answers, like, or at least for Kendrick to.
We definitely
acknowledge and say, "Hey, nigga, no, I don't beat my wife." You know what I'm saying? Like something along those lines. Does that matter to you?
We definitely need answers at some point. We definitely do, and it needs to be addressed at some point because that's not something, those are not light allegations by no means.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kendrick has the benefit though of, and then we talked about why people believe in Kendrick more than Drake. Kendrick has a track record of admitting traumatic and horrible stuff about himself in his music. He's admitted to doing a lot of bad stuff himself in his music, including the most recent album, Miss Morale, where he talks about, he's like, yeah, man, I was cheating on my wife with all these different women. And he admits like being a gangbanger, shooting, killing people, feeling bad for it. He admits to being a hypocrite on To Pimp a Butterfly. He admits that like he thought himself as a savior, and he said, you know what, I'm just a nigga. I just a guy who like to make music, and I thought too highly of myself. He's always been extremely honest with us, and that's why when these allegations came out, it's like this is the first time anybody has ever heard this. Ain't even been a police report. There's no article about it, except there was that Lipstick Alley thing that came out like 2 days before the song, and that was debunked on the community notes when
you can see this.
But like,
it also, but the whole thing with him living separately and him getting that apartment in what's the name? Like
none of us knew.
You could draw, like it can, like you said, it could give way to doubt. Like maybe you know what I'm saying.
But we don't know if it's true or not, though. And the thing is that there's people in Kendrick's side saying that he lives in New York with his family. So it's like that they saying that's not. So it's not true, and like we don't know. We don't know until we get something substantial like. For me, knowing who Drake is, knowing how chronically online Drake is, I felt like if any of this is true, after Family Matters came out, we were probably a day or 2 away from a police report that got thrown away, just materializing on the TL. we're like a day or two away from a video of him acting crazy like Jonathan Majors and that white woman on camera materializing on the TL.
Woman.
It's huh?
Oh, hey, man, Jonathan Majors ran away, man. Come on, man. He was
it was a video still.
Damn,
was crazy.
It's something. But I'm saying, like,
crazy straight.
For that to happen and Drake to say it as a fact, that means Drake had to have been given something or seen something. And I just refuse to believe if Drake had something physical showing that Kendrick actually had did it, he would not show up on the TL. Just knowing who Drake is, knowing how this beef is played out, him using like academics and using all these other like podcasters kind of as his mouthpiece, like Maul and stuff. I just refuse. It made me even more skeptical that we never actually saw anything tangible. It makes more sense from Kendrick's side because Kendrick quite literally only posted links to music. That's it. That's all we got from Kendrick's side. He just posted links. Drake himself
posted memes for weeks.
Drake himself is online posting stuff, and then he has people like Maul and academics who are openly supporting him, saying like, "Yeah, Drake just told me this. Drake just told me that."
It would have been on the X stream the moment Family Matters came. We would have saw the police report, the video.
If something does come out in the next year or two, how do you feel then, Cord?
Year or two, it's over.
I'm saying, but does it matter? Does it matter if something were to come out down the line and niggas are like,
it's gonna matter for his personal career.
I guess that nigga wasn't lying. Does it just?
Yeah, it matter for his personal career, but I don't think that like
it's gonna matter not for the beef.
Yeah, I don't think
because I feel like all of the pedophile stuff, that's all stuff that, like, the reason why Baca was in jail and the reason why he beat that case or whatever, the case that he did have, like, that's public knowledge. And then, like, the angle Jordan was taking with the Kylie Jenner and that video from, like, 2012 with the fan, like, all that stuff has been out, but it's just Kendrick made it more, made it popularized and made people... Yeah. He put more eyes on it, and he made it fun to make fun of that nigga.
He put a spotlight on it.
But Brad, this is why Meet the Grams is better than Family Matters to me. All of the stuff that Drake had to address now, he was too big to address it 7 to 8 years ago. So for the first time in his career, instead he has to come out and say, "Y'all really believe I would do this?" And everybody like, "Shit, kinda, probably." This might be right up your alley.
I feel like the downfall of Diddy right now is amplifying it too. That's just like that's just bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
world. But yeah, if I was Kendrick, I genuinely would not address any of it because, burden of proof is on the accuser. Burden of proof is on the accuser. If you're not posting the proof, then it is what it is. Because you can't. It's very hard to prove things that didn't happen if you're the accused. Like, you got to show that it did happen. But I think honestly, Drake addressing his accusations on his song. If I was Kendrick, I'm like,
got him.
Well, no.
And I think that's why he didn't drop. I feel like that's what a lot of people. I said that I read that on the TL. That's why he didn't drop. And he hasn't dropped anything else. He's like, this nigga playing defense. I won.
Him mentioning Millie Bobby Brown name and he.
I think that makes sense.
That was a bar. That was a bar. Let's not go.
Crazy bar.
I know you said it makes sense, but to me, if that was absolutely nothing to Drake. Absolutely nothing at all. That means Drake knows that people feel that way about him. Because Kendrick didn't Kendrick didn't mention that girl at all. So how do you know that's the minor I'm talking about?
Let me get my first point off.
Wait, why is there so many minors? That's the real question.
Let me get my first point off. Anywho, obviously that did not
take the Epstein angle.
Go ahead.
Him addressing the allegations for Drake did not go well. So if I'm Kendrick, I'm not about to address these allegations unless you can prove it. Because for that guy, he addressed allegations. Y'all flamed that nigga for it.
Yeah.
He said, "I didn't do this." Y'all said, "Why you didn't? Why you saying you didn't do it if you did it? If you didn't do it?" So I wouldn't do it. But also with the Millie Bobby Brown thing, there are a bunch of people who are like, "Oh yeah, Drake, weird, blah blah blah." This is like a celebrity. This is one that's been said. And if you're going to address allegations, people are like, he's just going on Twitter and looking up things people are saying. Yeah, why would you not? If we're going to address allegations, let me go find the allegations. And Millie Bobby Brown is the most notable one. So that just makes sense to me that he's going to say it. And he put it in a Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown bar. So it made sense.
That's how he got in this beef in the first place. How to do that Whitney
But
Houston
we
line.
already
I got a
here.
bodyguard like
We already
Whitney.
The bar made sense. Like people were trying to explain the bar to me. I'm like, I get it. It's just that like
It's crazy.
bringing her
every
name
single
up.
time, if you go on a Drake article, especially with all the stuff coming up, especially with Kendrick saying this, if you type in Drake pedophilia claims, Millie Bobby Brown's going to be the first one to come up. He said in the song last year, he said, "Don't say anything about a Millie Bobby something." It would make sense that we're going to say the one that, hey, Kendrick says this. This is what everyone is talking about on Twitter right now in this moment. Let me say something about it. And I'm not defending Drake right now. Please, God, y'all are making me look like I'm defending.
No. I know.
No, I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying.
I'm with you.
Let me say for the listeners,
we're all sensible niggas in here.
I'll definitely give you that one, but the one he's saying I'm too famous to be a pedophile.
He said I'm too respected.
That's crazy.
He said I'm too respected.
He said I'd be in jail if I was doing it. I'm like,
now, like I can see him saying like I'm too famous for there not to have been any legal things. There's a lot of famous people who like Bill Cosby didn't get caught for like 40 years.
Somebody somewhere would have said
like law
But he
releases
didn't say that.
anywhere. It's 100 more famous.
That's what he said.
He said I'm too
He
famous
said,
to be a
there would be
pedophile. That's
something
crazy.
somewhere, something. Somebody would know something. Somebody would have come forward at some
Well,
like, do you know how?
No. Hey, I ain't saying that.
That's what he said in the song.
I'm just saying this.
Picking
The
those
line would have
lyrics
made
like
more
crazy.
sense.
But I was fighting for my life on the TL. I'm like, yeah,
Man, hey,
it was super nitpicking.
Bragg, do not, you can't defend Drake on Twitter. You gotta let him die on his own, man. You gotta let him fight his like that.
Support like, Lord help.
Got it, man. So let me ask you this: so what does this beef do for both of these artists' legacy going forward, man?
I think for me, I said it before the beef happened, is that I feel like it's not that Drake had more to lose. I genuinely think Kendrick had more to gain from this. And the reason why I say that is because people have always been saying, well, the only thing that's missing is him being battle tested, number one. And then number two, the West Coast is known for the hardest disses of all time.
Yeah.
And also winning their beefs. Not only did Kendrick do it, I'd argue he had 2, maybe 3 all-time level disses in there. That's me. I feel that way. I just think Kendrick has much more to gain, and just him, Mr. Morale.
So you think in 10 years that people will look at 3 of those songs and the way that they look at like hit 'em up?
I think that the closest to that would probably be Not Like Us, just because of how big it is.
I'll say I'll give you Not Like Us. I wouldn't say 3, but I definitely would give you Not Like Us.
Euphoria stand.
Hit 'Em Up is probably like the most streamed diss record of all time. So that's why I said maybe Not Like Us. But the other ones will be seen as some like all-time great disses.
The versatility is what makes it a hard conversation. If he was like rapping about the same stuff in like the same style of song, that'd be one thing. But like each disc kind of checks its own box, and like when you talk about it in the context of the beef, it just Not Like Us. That's one I think I would definitely agree. That's an all-time one. Euphoria and Meet the Grams, I'll let you debate that one, even though I think Meet the Grams is really the knockout punch to this beef. I think that's what killed all of Drake momentum, personally. Euphoria is kind of like, okay, I'm giving you a little character, cultural analysis, but also give you something to bump in the wheel, but also being lyrical as hell, it being versatile. So it's just he did much better than I thought he was gonna do. Like, I understand, like Kendrick, everybody know me, like me and Jordan, and honestly, me, Jordan, and DeLon, like we love Kendrick to death. Like, he one of our favorite rappers, but like to see him do this, I didn't think he'd go. I ain't gonna say he even set the bar super high, but it's like, it's crazy to see. Like, I can't really believe it.
He showed me what he is when he locked in. That's all it is. Yep. Like, we were talking about what he taking so long to really respond. It's 10 days. He spent 10 days making 10 songs. Like, he wasn't even time making one song. Like, he
spent one day making 10 songs and 10 days making 20 songs.
That nigga was recording. And so I didn't think he had, because we never seen Kendrick just release music like this since like To Pimp a Butterfly, since before To Pimp a Butterfly. So I just didn't I don't know.
Does that make you mad as a fan, Jordan, that he could make out like quality music like this in such a short amount of time? And he
No,
just decides not to.
No, I've always been like, when Mary used to ask me about that back in like 2018 when like Damn came out, and he was like, because I love Damn, he was like, he kind of asked me the same questions, like, does it bother you that he don't release music more frequently? I said it would bother me if I didn't like the music enough to the point I can listen to it for 2 to 3 years. Like the Pimp a Butterfly, I didn't really get tired of listening to it. It came in 2015 till probably a little, maybe like a little bit before Damn came out. I started listening to it a lot less. So I was like, Good Kid, Mad City the same way. I was still actively listening to Good Kid, Mad City like from beginning to end when To Pimp a Butterfly came out. So if the music didn't hold up, I would be more frustrated. Cause I'm like, man, I need something new. I would probably say I feel that way kind of after Mr. Morale because I like the album. I didn't love it the same way I love the others. I listened to it a lot less than the others. And so if he took like a 5-year gap between it and his next album, which I don't think that's what he's going to do, at least it don't sound that way according to what I've been hearing, but I would feel maybe some kind of way like, come on, man, it's been a while.
Knowing the type of artist Kendrick is, like, I put it like this, the way he said it on the album, like, he had writer's block for like 2 years, so that's what took the hold up a lot of the album. So I ride with that. And even then, like, it's not uncommon for people to take 2 to 3 years between albums in the first place. The 5-year wait, I ain't gonna lie to you, like, yeah, I was definitely waiting on it. But knowing the type of artist,
2 to 3 years is okay, but I'm saying like not even a single or a vert. Like if it ain't Baby Keem, who is his cousin, like he don't do nothing. Like it's like silence. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
I was he was trying to save your family, so I'm gonna let him cook.
I give J. Cole did the same thing, and J. Cole will give you he's been on a outside of what he just did. He's been on a crazy feature run for a little second now, and he's been super his family man bag as well. So I can't even say that. You know what I'm saying? And also we just saw what he can cook up in like a week. So can you really just say, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have a week to where you can go cook something up right quick.
This is the first gap that big in his career, and on the album he explained the gap, like therapy, working through that stuff, writer's block, all that kind of stuff. So, like, I would rather him just wait instead of put out an ass album when he's telling me he can't write an album.
But I get what you're saying about like singles and stuff like that. I would do wish he did more guest features. I wish he did put out just like more loosies here and there. Like, hey y'all, he just a song that's not gonna make my album, but because Kendrick, from we learned from To Pimp a Butterfly, he records a lot of music. He just even back he's a literal he a perfectionist. Like when he's not perfect, he said I don't want to release it.
He don't release.
Stop disrespecting me.
I listened to a couple of those songs off Untitled, Unmastered, like a decent amount. And I'm not gonna lie to you. So like,
I agree.
I
would like to hear throwaways. I would like to hear throwaways, but he just. I wish we got more of that. I wish we got more guest features. The Baby Keem songs do hit now. DeLon, I told you.
Y'all saying let's get this shit for 3 months. Y'all gotta stop disrespecting the Baby Keem joints.
I said, DeLon, I don't want to hear this right now until I hear the album. That was before Mr. Morale came out. I'm scared Mr. Morale's gonna be a damn joint album with Baby Keem. That's not what I need.
I need it.
Guilty.
But now, after he gave me this all-time rap beef, after he gave us Mr. Morale. If you want to have a joint album, Baby Keem, I'm all with it. It's your world.
And I got a theory. On that, man.
Can we apologize to Jermaine Cole as a family?
No. Y'all need to apologize to me. Y'all need to apologize to me.
No. Really?
Hell no.
No.
Tomato.
Jermaine went into it and thinking he was just gonna be.
Y'all laughed me off this podcast.
Hey, I did.
I said, them boys doing something else over there. He saw the thing.
I understand it.
Like, hey,
but
bro,
even Ross stood on business.
Ross did on
business. Ross is on the 20v1 side.
Ross threw his hand in there, threw his song out there, and whatever Drake said out there, whatever, he's still being petty or whatever, but he's still in his business. You can't go deleting a song is insane. Like that.
Nah.
Brad, he thwarted me. We just gotta respect him. He ain't got no enemies.
No, I can't respect it. That's just I can't respect it. I can't.
I'm telling you, this was trying to be the biggest beef, like just like of Kendrick's career. as well as Cole's, and Cole shied away from the moment. That's all I'm saying.
Especially after you've been talking for.
I don't care the reason.
I'm put an M on
I was
your
like,
head
this
like
the
now
moment
you
you step
Luigi
away from.
brother
I ain't
now.
gonna hold
If
you.
I come with the
This the
beat,
moment you
you
take
gonna
your
know
tail
it's
and
coming
walk
in
away.
It's
direct.
different.
Come
It's
on,
not
you
that.
can't be talking like that. Put a
It's
diss
not
out, get this,
that.
put a diss out, and then delete it and say, "I'm sorry,
Yeah.
big bro, my
Niggas
bad."
are
If you
breaking into
decide to
Drake's
spank
house.
me, you got
Every
it.
day. Every day.
You
bro.
got it, big
This
bro.
the
I'm
third
gonna take it
person.
on the
They are
10. I'm
shooting
gonna take it on the
outside.
10, big bro.
No.
You
J.
can't do
Cole in
that.
the
They're
beat
shooting
looking so
outside.
happy, dog. That's peace you can't buy.
Hey, tell J. Cole that's what comes with being the best in the game, man. Niggas gonna be dead. That's what comes with it. That's
Let
What
me
can
say
you
this
say? The
before
crown is
I get back
heavy.
to Jordan's
The crown is
story.
You ain't gotta worry about that. You ain't gotta worry about
Hey,
that.
what the
Cole.
little meme say? The mind, the soul, and the heart.
Man.
J. Cole.
Third place ain't so bad, brother.
Let me say this before I get back to Jordan's original question. There is a chance that Drake beats pedophilia claims and has a career. I do not think that J. Cole beats pedophilia claims and has a career. So I
Yeah.
think
I
there's
got
a
a
different
source
level.
that say his. I got a source that say his claims wasn't pedophilia. I got a source that say that his
Mm.
claim was cheating on his
Cheating?
wife, and he
Yeah.
didn't want that coming out. That's what my source
that's
told
fair.
me.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what he did.
yeah.
I'm very certain.
But Jordan, to your original question, what does it do for their legacies? I think that this battle was a de facto battle for the title of the generation.
Come on.
That gap of 2009 until it was those two individuals. I think it's fair to say that both those two, let's say before this happened, both those two were already in GOAT talk, right?
Yep.
If we're talking GOAT talk for the generation, if we're talking about how we define GOAT, if you have 2 or 3 different definitions, Drake and Kendrick's name will come up.
Yep.
I think there is a tax for being the guy of your generation. Jay-Z was the guy. Tupac and Biggie shared. It is what it is.
Yeah.
This definitely, for me, solidifies a Kendrick top 5, solidifies a Kendrick top 4. And I think both of them, Grant, when you say Kendrick had more to gain, I think they both had more to gain because there's no dragon that slayed that was bigger than Kendrick. Not a single dragon he could have slayed bigger than Kendrick to solidify his career and his legacy.
Yeah.
There's a more legitimate artist, a more legitimate rapper, more legitimate lyricist. In the last 15 years, there's not a champion of hip hop more than Kendrick Lamar in the last 15 years. So I think they both had so much to gain, and there's not a bigger dragon in black music than Drake for Kendrick to slay.
Yeah.
If he could have cooked Cole, that does not mean nearly as much as Drake. He could have kicked Lupe, that doesn't mean as much as Drake.
No.
So these are the only two for both of them.
They the antipieces of each other, basically.
Yeah, I would have agreed with you, Grant.
That's
Like,
wrong you told it.
I feel like with the Pusha and the Meek, he was just so much of a bigger artist that him winning or losing wouldn't really matter with his career. But like DeLon said, when in the grand scheme of things, in 10, 15 years, when people talking about this era of music, that right there is going to always come up.
Kendrick, he like the accumulation of all the people that kind of, I ain't gonna say all the people that Drake beef with, but he like, oh, you want somebody that's sinister as Pusha T? Kendrick that guy. You want somebody that's gonna be smart? Kendrick that guy. So like to kind of see it play out on paper and everything like that. And the thing is, and I'm glad you said something about about Drake having just as much in the game, because when you put it in perspective, I honestly forgot about this. Drake was coming off of 2015. People had been saying, oh my God, he kind of ghostwriter. How could he be the GOAT? And wouldn't it be lovely if he took now hip hop? I'd say, I ain't gonna even say hip hop purists, because all hip hop purists don't even like Kendrick all the time. But
one of the greatest writers in hip hop, though.
It would have been like, okay, the hit making nigga beat you at your own game, but instead it's reversed around. It's I beat you. I outdid you. I played your game better than you did.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that this, in terms of beef with this, both the legacies goes just in line with all you guys have said. You guys said it all for Kendrick's standpoint. Like it puts him in perspective of being the best. That's what people will try to say Drake in the future, even like next week, and people will be like, well, okay, if he's the best, what happened in that diss? Like, that's what people are going to say. Like, That's if he's the best. What happened when they went head to head? It's kind of like basketball. You know, Cam raised earlier. You're like, you say if Jordan and LeBron both able to play the same in the same era, and they actually played against each other once in the finals, and Jordan won. And people say LeBron's better. I was like, okay, but what about when they played against each other? What happened? So that's
it's gonna end up being that like no matter what Bron does, like that man literally has gonna end up hitting his career with like 40,000 career points, and no matter what he does, there's always gonna be he's got those blemishes on his career, so he'll never be the de facto number one the way that Jordan is the de facto number one in basketball. Drake has too many blemishes on his career for anybody to have a legitimate argument for why he is,
Kendrick
the guy or whatever.
Kendrick not only has a strong case for being now the best of his gen, but now, like Delon said, he has a case for, okay, how many rappers all time has the hit records, the classic albums, the critically acclaimed albums, and now a all-time great beef or great diss records. How many rappers can we say has all of those things and can rap like Kendrick to that degree? One day we could come back and maybe that'd be a great topic, discuss who we think the best rappers all time are and like who has like, the best, basically the best like track record. I think that'd be a great topic. But I don't think the list of people better than Kendrick right now in terms of accolades. It's a very short, and now this beef is even shorter.
He's top. I put it like this: going into this beef, I already had. I put it like this: Kendrick probably he was definitely top 10 on my personal list, everything like that. Itching toward factors, I grew up with him and everything like that. But putting it in perspective, when we talk about complete rappers. He probably top 5 on that list. I'd even go on record that he might be the most complete rapper since 2 rappers had untimely deaths in the 90s. But that's just me.
I'm gonna keep it a stat, Grant. After I'm about to say that until he puts out a bad album, he's number 1 for me.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say all time.
No claim. You can go down for the rest of your career. You can go up and go down. Jay-Z has albums. I'm like, I was mad as hell after I bought Blueprint 3. I was mad as hell.
Kanye got some claims. Andre ran away, came back with the flu. That don't count, but we love him.
He puts out a bad album.
I was talking to Miro about that. I think Biggie passing did help him a lot as far as everything he put out was gold because he was literally his pen was on fire at the time. So. Kendrick being at that and not having an untimely death is pretty insane for him to be in. What has it been? A decade?
It's been 15 years. 15 years of Kendrick Lamar. 15 years since Section 80.
Every album or project that Kendrick has put out since Section 80.
Overly dedicated.
I'll put it like this. I'm not super fond of. I ain't gonna say. I love Miss Morale personally, but in a perception of the general public, people are kind of very divided on it. But everything else that Kendrick put out since Section 80, people will argue that shit is classic. Good Kid, Mad City, bona fide classic. To Pimp a Butterfly, bona fide classic. Even I wasn't even on this side before, but as time went on, I was like, damn, I think Dan could even go down and be seen as a classic. Because of the accolades around it and just the theme of the music, but just all in all, and Kendrick being popular is one thing, but he's popular and he's making concept albums. That is an extremely hard thing to do.
It's that Jordan effect, bro. He doesn't have any blemishes. There's no blemishes. You can't it's Jordan-esque, as they say.
The biggest complaint people were saying about when he came to this beef was, Kendrick don't release music. Kendrick don't release music often enough. That's what people
got no quotables, Jordan.
That's what he got quotables. That's what people were saying to make fun of him in this beef. He don't not if it's any other
30.
There's a lot of things you can say about quotables in 2 weeks. There's a lot of things you can say about every rapper. as worse than he don't release music often. But that's kind of the only thing they had to really stand on that we actually know about. It's like, yeah, he don't release music often. But when he do, like even J. Cole tried to diss his music and had to come back and say, you know what? Ah, man, that shit fire.
And this is one more point I kind of want to make, and this is really I promise this is my last thing I'm gonna say.
Go ahead.
When people slander Kendrick for like, how can he be the so when he only dropped X amount of years? But guess what? Every time he show up, y'all gonna talk about it to the end. So that first. Everybody stopped on my TL. It's like, oh shit, Kendrick on here. Like, that was the talk of the TL for, I honestly want to say, not just days. I want to say like a couple weeks. So it's kind of like, it don't matter how often. I think one of Kendrick's underrated traits is that he maximizes almost every single appearance that he has.
Yep.
Like, that's one thing that I would give him. He is really good at maximizing opportunities.
Creating the moment.
Jordan. And since we talking about legacy, I also want to say this is a moment that is going to be notched in hip-hop forever, and this adds on to the culture because we saw the disciple of Tupac go against the new king of pop. We saw the man backed by the culture going against the man backed by the corporations. And I feel like this entire genre is going to be looking very different after this.
I agree. I don't know exactly how, but I agree.
I think
we talked about legacies with like Drake.
Let's be back.
I think there's one thing we didn't talk about is like, what does this do for Drake's legacy in terms of being a loss? Like we talk about if he had won, what it meant for him, but in terms of a loss, in terms of his overall status, like as an artist, I think he'll remain as big. He could potentially become bigger in the future. We always call Drake, people call Drake a pop artist, and due to that, I don't think, what happens in rap beef isn't going to prevent him from being the biggest artist in the world or the biggest pop artist or just whatever you want to refer to him as. This is not going to prevent him from being that. Now, his status as a hip hop legend, like where he'll rank all time, when you consider like already having the ghostwriter claims against him, this will lock him. This will probably lock him out of those GOAT talks in terms of that. And like I said, in some cases, he might have already been locked out of that conversation by a lot of like hip hop figures. There's a lot of people who came out and spoke when the allegation came out, like, "Hey man, I love Drake to death, but you got a rider, man. I've
seen a lot of people say that if the meat beef never happens and well, I'll put it like this: if the ghostwriting claims never happen and all this and things like that. I've heard a lot of comps of Jay-Z. I wouldn't be mad at it. With this current timeline that we're in, I have seen people say a mix of, because I was actually talking to a couple people about this, who would be the best comparison for Drake. It would be a mix of Jay-Z, Nelly, and LL Cool J.
That's great. I like that.
And the reason why I put in Nelly is in there is because Nelly isn't in the grand scheme of hip hop, at least to me. Even though I think Nelly is a legend. A lot of people don't take him seriously as rapper, even though the reasoning is kind of different for Drake. Mm-hmm. So I think he gonna get looked back. It's gonna be very split opinions. I'll put it like that. Like, it's gonna be really split.
I think he's a more like his pen and his like rapping ability is a lot better than some of the guys that you named. But that I feel like what Jordan said is probably the most spot on. Like he probably still go down as a legend, but like top 5, I feel like that's pretty much done. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like anybody can comfortably say, oh, Drake is top 5 or he's the top 3, top 2 or number 1 without it, you know what I'm saying, unless you talk numbers. But as far as like pure hip hop, yeah, he's probably locked out of those talks. But as far as being the biggest artist, I feel like that's pretty accurate.
He's still a
music not for me. I could have him in the top 5 and he might slide in there. I just know wherever he is, Kendrick's a spot above him right now.
Yeah. Fair. Okay, yeah, I can agree. Yeah.
Very fair.
Well, Kendrick and obviously you got to put Big in, so that's why I said that. But for sure.
So, could we got to talk basketball today at some point? So we get to it. Just last thing, round table. Now I was gonna do like top 3 favorite songs from this beef, but I'm just gonna get everybody's favorite song from it. That way we can go on to basketball. So with that being said, man, what was everybody's favorite song in this beef?
I gotta go with Euphoria, even though I don't think it's the best. My favorite. I don't think it's the best song that dropped in this beat. I think Euphoria, it just kind of, from a skill standpoint, Kendrick just checked so many boxes. I love it. Like the quotables, what is it, the braids, V12 being a slimming machine instead of like a car. I'm Melly, all that shit. Like, I think that's my favorite.
What about you, Jack West?
Not gonna lie, not like us. I've been in the shower singing the shit out that song. That song is, that joint is catchy, man. At first I was singing draw. I was singing that like every day, but not like this is. Man, that is too catchy, bro. It's like it's easy, especially towards the end. That little part towards the end.
I laughed every time I listen to that song, man.
Oh my god, I hate it's that good. Like I want to hate it so bad, man. I really do.
Awesome.
It's such a good song. It's such a bop. I can't even lie. So that's probably one I listen to the most.
What about you, DeLon?
Truly on the fence. I say not like us, but that feels like cheating. Because it just took off. I recently had a deep appreciation for 616. I did have that when I did my ranking like last week. I had that like number 6 or 5. But I think it's because it wasn't on Spotify, so I spun on YouTube. I really appreciate one of the things I appreciate most about Kendrick is his intentionality in everything, the vocal inflections, the saying it right here, then the last word of the bar goes right here. I really do think he was very intentional about everything that he said, even with his vocals in that song. And I like when you can see when he kind of zones out. So I might say 616 tied with Not Like Us.
Who would I be if I didn't go to war? Okay, that was tough, man.
Hey, man. Nigga started praying in the middle of the song, man.
And nigga said, I pray for my kids. I rap in circadian rhythms. Like, I'm
Put it on streaming services, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a minute, but
y'all think that sample saying "Boy Wonder" in the background?
I prayed that I would break my heart, brother.
Because like people were saying, I saw people saying on T. I said, I don't think so. And when they played it, and like it's just looping at the end, like he lets it loop at the end, and I was like, it really actually does sound like he's saying "Boy Wonder." That'd be insane, but
I hope it ain't true.
I ain't trying to go down the rap 4chan hole, but man, the boy Wonder mode theories. Hey man,
we didn't even talk about all the crazy shit that happened like last night. But that's only because I don't know what to make of any of it, to be completely honest with you.
The Riddler.
The most underrated song is BBL Drizzy. I'm not gonna lie.
Boy.
I can't lie. He cooked.
It's so funny.
Intro did something I didn't think. Yeah, man. That's my girlfriend been going around singing that song. Like she just randomly said, That's when I knew it was over. I said, "Oh man." Cole, what's your favorite song from this?
Hey man, Meet the Grams. I'm gonna say this: for as long as I live, I will never forget where I was at and how I felt. Listening to a song to have a strong emotional pull like that is insane. It was so dark. This is an artist that I've been critical of. This is an artist I always felt like, boy, I can't wait to see his downfall. I felt sympathy listening to this song.
More paper. That shit diabolical, man.
He said, Sandra, sit down. I said, no, he finna say something crazy.
He said, your son's a sick nigga with sick thoughts. I think he should die. I said,
in a cell with Weinstein.
That's like, I guess, because I feel like, I think I was telling someone, I said, I feel like hip hop has been very, I won't say neutered, that's a very strong word, but I feel like it's been defanged, it's not as, I won't say not as violent, but like in terms of mainstream music, like it was very jarring to hear an artist of Kendrick's stature get on a song and say, I just hope this person on the other song dies. That's how much I don't like him. Dead. That to me was that caught me so off guard, and that kind of like feeds into that's why it was my favorite song of this beef, because that's when I first felt like somebody had really done something that put them ahead of the other. You know, I was on the fence with Family Matters, and then like, is this the song that does it? And then Deep the Grants came after, and I'm like, no, wait, this is the song.
Like addressing every member of the family and telling them, I feel sorry for you because either you brought this person into a world or he brought you into the world, and you got to live with him. To hear even the last verse, like it was like he knew, like I knew Family Matters is gonna be your victory lap. I had to crash it. You made me do this. You put me in the position to do this. I swear I didn't want to. I only wanted to help. To get crazy.
And even like with the daughter claims and stuff like that, even if that happens to not be true, addressing a verse to this daughter, whether they exist or not, and making it sound believable,
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
And I think that says a lot about Drake, the fact that he could say that, and then it's been like, even without showing proof, and people feel like,
yeah, probably
that might be true, you know. That says a lot. But that last verse was definitely like underrated, because if people aren't really talking about it, man, take the accolades. But yeah. All right. With that being said, appreciate everybody tuning in. If you, like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, press the like button, drop a comment, let us know at what point you would like hell nah chord, all those great things. Like I said, we'll be talking about basketball in another video. So we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all stay easy. We'll see you next time.